Stream number 23. It's Raimu, and today I'm going to work on key configurations and layers. I'm also going to be fixing a few bugs that I found between this stream and last, but hopefully the bug fixing goes quick and I can work on this cleaner way to describe what keys do, because right now I kind of have it hard-coded and hacked in there. The programmable part, I don't know if I'll get to today, but the idea is to make them programmable, we'll reserve some area of flash memory to be like a block for the key configuration. And then to the GUI I have that I use to manage the keyboard, I'll add some controls to load, view, edit, and save this key config block. So the saving will be sending it to the keyboard, which will write it into flash memory, and then when the keyboard boots up, it'll read from that area of flash memory to figure out what the keys mean. So in the code right now, what the keys mean is hard-coded in this array near the top of the file right here, key codes. And it's ordered from this way and then over here this way. And these are the key codes for A, B, C, D, E, F. So if I do A, B, C, D, E, F, I just typed it on the prototype keyboard. And 30 through 35 is the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's how it's coded right now. The modifiers are totally hacked in. So I have these fix me's here. So key 0, which is this one, and key 6, which is this one, are hacked in and hard-coded to be one's a shift over here and the other one's a control. So I want to kind of take out these hacks, right? We can do this in steps, so I'm okay with taking out the hacks first and incorporating it into this data here and just expanding it to include modifiers and whether or not something is a hold tap key, so to speak. So maybe I'll do that first once I'm done with the bugs. So let me describe the bugs I found between streams. So I have in here this structure called simulated keys, and I made it into a collection that is unordered, so to speak, right? So you can just look up a key, and if it exists in the B tree map, then it has a timestamp associated to it that says when we started simulating a key press for that key. So the problem is that really these should be in order of time. The way we generate them comes out of the logic behind the hold tap stuff. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to quickly tap the how do I say this? The button 0 and the button 6. So button 0, again, if I just tap it, it's an A. And button 6, if I tap it, it's a 1. If I hold down the left one, it's shift. So now I get exclamation point instead of a 1, right? And if I hold down this one, it's control. So if I do like control and then A, it selects everything, right? So what happens if I press and release and like roll through it? Okay, sometimes it does correctly. You get the A1 because I'm pressing the left one first. But sometimes you get a 1A. And it's sort of unpredictable. And I'm pretty sure I'm hitting the left one first every single time. So that's the problem. They're coming out in the wrong order, and I believe the reason why is they're both hold tap keys, and they're both simulated once they're released. And they're simulated once both of them are released, which means that we put them both into the map at the same time, even though we struck the keys in different orders. So yeah, I have to fix this. So the approach I was thinking of, which might not be the right one, but I want to try it, is to turn simulated keys from a B tree map just into a vec DQ. And then put this into just a tuple. So I might promote this to a better type. Right now I just have to remember that the first member of the tuple is the key index, and the second one is the time we actually not the time where we struck the key, but the time at which we should turn off the key. Which makes me think that we shouldn't actually put that here. That should be outside here, And because we're only going to simulate one at a time, we should have like simulated key expiration. What's a good word here? Like end, simulated key end. So that'll be the time on the timer at which the current simulated key is ended, and then we pop it off the DQ, and then we maybe simulate the next key, right? So let's follow the train of compiler errors. Yeah, so simulated keys is not a B-tree map. It is a vectq. And then I need the simulated keys key end, which just put 0 because this is going to be empty. Okay. So check for simulated keys done becomes a lot simpler because now instead of looking through all the simulated keys and filtering and doing this kind of a thing, we're just going to say like if the simulated keys is empty, we're going to return early, right? Return. But if it's not, we're going to say if I made the end time, right? So self.simulated key end, if now is greater than or equal to that, then we need to move to the next key, right? So that would be this stop simulating key there, and we'll get the key code out by doing let key index equal self.simulated keys pop front and unwrap, because it returns as an option because if it's empty we would get none, but we already checked to make sure it's not empty. And then all this goes, I think. Make sure that compiles, okay. So right here where we start simulating a key, I don't think we need this now. Actually, we do need that now. So I need to see where this is called from though. I think what we'd want to do, yeah, it's only called from 2 places, right? I think what we want to do is, it currently like simulates the key immediately, and instead of inserting here, it would push back, right? And would push back just the key index. And with that, now what we would do is we would say if self.simulated keys. How come it's not auto-completing for me? I don't know why it was not auto-completing for me. If this is empty, then we're going to set the actual next end time, right? Simulated key end equals now plus the constant, which is how long to simulate a key, right? Simulated key duration microseconds. Hey there, good cheeseburgers. Push back to the GM Griffin index. You mean CM Griffin index, right? Oh, and that's we only want to start this simulated key if there wasn't another one ahead of us. Basically, it becomes a queue. Right. Lyndon, how are you doing? Okay. If this builds now, that means, yeah, although we're not done. It's compiling this, so I think I need to look at where simulated keys is used again. Like the guy we just don't get on. It's 6:41 a.m. and no sleep other than that, doing just fine. Well, I hope you get better sleeps in the future. How's the keyword stuff going? I am working on the last few things in the firmware. the keyboard's going great because I'm just waiting for the final PCB to come back. It's built, it's being shipped to me, it should arrive in a couple days. If all goes well with that, I'll be soldering everything on it, and then I'll be retiring this 12 key prototype, and I'll have the final 36 key final product. The to-do list is all getting checked off, so we have combos and layers to do. And then this is what I'm doing now, the cleaner way of describing key configuration. And then sort of some secondary things are like, we have a second CPU core, maybe we can try to make use of it. And then someone asked, like, what does the keyboard do when the PC goes idle? This is going to be hard to do on stream, so maybe I'll do it off stream or something. But I want to kind of, I guess, log and store in non-volatile memory, like, what the USB interface looks like when the PC goes to sleep, and then see, like, do we need to do something? Can we go to sleep and conserve power? How does that work? What am I doing? No, what are you using core-wise? I am using, here, let's put in some links first. Ultimately, the brain of this thing is a Raspberry Pi microcontroller. So I get to use a lot of the embedded HAL and, well, I should put the other link in there. Because on top, or what's hosting this RP2040 is the KB2040, which is an Adafruit board. So that crate gives me my hardware abstraction layer, which incorporates the RP2040 hardware abstraction layer. It has the peripheral access crate, and then embedded HAL defines like what input and output pins mean and timers. I'm using the smart LEDs crate for the LEDs you see blinking there. They're NeoPixels. And I'm also using Rust's USB device and USB-D HID class drivers. Oh, and the USB-D serial driver for all of this connection to the host. So I didn't have to write any of this stuff. That's what we're based on, basically. Okay, and so back to what I was doing today. I'm fixing a bug where the simulated key presses for hold tap need to be queued and not all spit out at once. So let's see. Okay, here's the problem, right? We stopped simulating one key. We should start simulating the next key, I think. Yeah, so we should say if self dot. Actually, why don't I just have stop call start and rename it to be next? Yeah, I only call it from one place. So let's rename that to like simulate next key, or move to next simulated key. How about like, see, I'm bad with names. Because the simulated key presses are like keys we've queued up to send. They're not actually pressed now, they're pressed in the past. And so we're simulating them being pressed after the fact. So if they're in a queue and we're done with one and we need to do the other, what is this called? Like process simulated key queue or something like that? Process simulated keys queue? It's the best I can come up with right now. So yeah, this one is called from here. I'd rather like put that into here and remove the key index. Remove the key index. Remove this line. This cleans it up quite a bit, right? Yeah, and then here would be like if let some key index let me think about this. Actually, yeah, we have to do a start, right? We need to do this. Oh, I need to make this not start, but if let. Actually, no, this is the one I want to call, right? Sort of. Actually, what I want to do is take some of this off. Okay. Self.simulated. How come it won't autocomplete always? Front, right? I want to do that. Simulation of key index start, and then add it. So we removed the last one, we added the next one. Oh, and then I have to advance the self.simulated key end. I have to advance it by that constant that I defined, like how long a simulated key press is. This thing. Okay. Okay, so that is a reference, so we dereference it there. Okay, I need to... We don't want to start them all at once, right? Actually, maybe it's okay, because this one will just push it back. Yeah, this is fine. Now, let's just try this. I think that's all I need to do to fix the bug that I saw. Let's build it and test it. Not program, but program. So here we are in the log of the keyboard. It's showing me how I've sent the program to this controller and it's forwarding it to that, and then they're both reprogramming at the same time. Okay, so let's try back in here. Let's just do tap A, B, C, D, E, F, tap. Okay, and then let me do a shift, and then a rolling one. No, sometimes it's doing it out of order. Okay, I need to fix that then. I need to kind of isolate when that happens. So, do I still have that window up? Actually, it just happened there, so let's see what that last one looked like. So it begins right around here. Look at the timestamps, right? Kind of hard to see. I guess it's here. So this is the sequence, right? So if we first pressed this key, then we pressed this key, then we released this one and it put it in the queue. And then we released this one, and it simulated... So this is the problem. It already queued that one. It shouldn't simulate that one because this was already queued. Okay, yeah. So when we release a hold tap key and it turns out to be a tap, we need to queue it, not... We need to put it in the queue and not simulate immediately, because there might be something else in the queue. Is that right? What we really need to do is preserve the order in which the keys are pressed. If you guys hear talking or yelling in the background, it's just the rest of my family. They're pretty loud. Well, the simulation queue works, right? When it finishes one, it begins the next one right away. So we get that key down, and then a different key down, and then no keys down. Yeah, and we need to, like, the problem is if the if one is a mod tap and the other one isn't. Like, this one is not, the two. So if I do this one and roll into that one, okay, I guess I'm never getting the 2A. If I roll into this one... Okay, I guess there is no problem when one of them is a hold tap and the other one isn't. They're always in the right order. So that tells me a sufficient solution then would be when we make a hold tap decision that it's a tap, we should just queue it, not simulate immediately, but put it into the queue. So where is that? That would be around here somewhere. No, it's on key up, right? Yeah, it's here. It's right here. So instead of doing start simulating key, we want to do queue. That's what we're doing. Do we just want to do this always and do this never? Okay, let's try it. So that would just be commenting this out then. Let's see if that works. Yeah. Oops, wrong one. I don't yet have my GUI set up so I can just hit program from here, so I always have to quit it to get back to the command line and then run the GUI again. That's another thing I gotta get running. Maybe on stream or maybe off. I don't know. I don't know how much you guys care about the host side stuff. This project is really focused on the device side here, the embedded side, but I do have this host side GUI app that needs some work. Okay, so this problem happens all the time. Okay, so one solution we found, right, was to just reset the board. So quit this. And Control-C doesn't seem to work. Interesting. But resetting the board, right? Resetting is this button. And then rerun it. Yeah, so that then I don't have to wait. Pretty sure it's not a device problem, it's a Windows problem. So we're reprogramming again. And then we're back. And actually I don't need the host, we can go and test it here. So let's do, yeah, both of them are hold tap keys and just roll through them. So we should get A1 all the time reliably, if I did it correctly. And if I hold this one and press that one, it's a shift. I'm getting 1A because I alternated and started pressing the right one first. Okay, that one's wrong. Okay, so it's if I... Okay, now it depends on which one I released first. Okay, that is a problem. I can't do it fast enough. I have to do it faster than 200 milliseconds. So instead of rolling through it... Yeah, like that. That last one. So what does that last one look like in the log? I think it's right here. So we pressed this one. And... yeah, and then on the right keyboard, we pressed this one, so it queued it. And then we released this one, and so it queued that one. Well, why did it simulate that one? Oh, right, because that's the one we queued first. Wait, hold on. Oh, I didn't go back far enough? I didn't go back far enough. I need to start here, I think. Oh, that's interesting. Actually, we got to go back this far. Right, so we pressed this one on the left, and then we pressed the one on the right. So they combine together there. They're kind of, these two messages are out of order, because that can happen. These two log independently, but then they collect together here. So yeah, press the left button, and then press the right button, then released the right button, and then release the left button. So it should have done left and then right, but it did right and then left because it's going in order in which they were released. I guess that tells me we need to keep track of when the keys were pressed and sort by that. Right? Yeah. Okay, so I need a slightly more intelligent container than vecdq. I need like a priority queue. It needs to be prioritized by the time in which we press the key, not the time we release the key. Beep beep. So I don't remember in Rust what collection we have for priority queue, but let's look. Rust priority queue. I guess we could use a B-tree map that's sorted by time. What if I just used a B-tree map that's sorted by time? There's a priority queue crate. Binary heap? Okay. Hey there, Musin. How are you doing? Musin always has the best answers. It can't use standard library though, Musin. This is a no standard project. It's not there, it's in main. So yeah, sorry, no standard. It would have to be an alloc for me to use it. Let's see if it is. Hey, look, it's in alloc. We're good. Yay. This will be a max heap. So I need to devise a type that lets me store the key index and the time, and then have an ordering by the time so that it's in the correct ordering. So let's devise the type first. We'll call it like timed key or something like that, right? You can invert the heap with ord? Okay. Well, I need to make a type anyway, right? So I would define the ord myself. Might as well just ord it the way I want, right? So struct timed key. So we have the key and the key. I kind of want to use a consistent naming, and I've been calling it key index because it's an index into the configuration. Basically, heap push reverse key to get a min heap. Okay, yeah, I'd have to see. I'm not familiar with this container, so I'm not sure what push takes. Let's see what it takes. Okay, so the type would be what reverse returns, right? I'm guessing reverse is a wrapper of some kind. So it would be core compare reverse. Yeah, so it's a wrapper type. That's cool. So its implementation of OR just inverts. That's neat. I like that. See, Rust is cool. So we also want to know the downtime or time, push time. And then let's implement a partial ord for timed key. Partial compare. And we can just say comp ordering, right? No need to say core there, is there? Or maybe we do. Partial order will need to be... Wait, what's the error? I was going to say it needs to be imported, but now I don't... I didn't see an error there. Ah! Don't close the pop-up on me. Can't compare with... Partial equal is not implemented. Okay, fine. We have to implement partial equal also. Alright, implement missing members. So I only really care about the push time here. Alright, and then for the ordinal, I think I'll just try it one way, and then if it's wrong, I'll just reverse it. Because I always have trouble like thinking through what should it be less than, should it be greater than. I can make an attempt to do this. So if it's a max first, that's what that meant, right? Max heap, that means the maximum will be first, right? It'll be on top. So max being first, that means the one that is greater than will be the first. So I want the one with the least No, with the greatest time? No. If we compare two, and one has an earlier time, I want that to come out on top of the heap. So I want an earlier time to be greater than a later time. So I want to say like less than or equal to, right? Is it strictly? Oh, hold on. Well, it would just be reversing these two, right? Other, compare with self. And then I don't care about this one. I think that's what I want. Error so long one needs to scroll. What's the problem? Yeah. Well, I'm lazy. The better thing would be just to run cargo clippy here, and then it would be all in this window. But that requires me to type out the word cargo clippy. Like good old Java factory errors, which revolutionized the software industry. Now it seems forever. I know. Okay, so we have this timed key. So we want to have our simulated keys be a binary heap of simulated keys, or timed key. All right, and then we'll import that from alloc collections. All right. This is binary heap new. Does binary heap not have a new? OR is not satisfied. Wasn't OR just something we can derive from partial OR? Or is that equal? I can never get them straight. We can derive OR once we have implemented partial OR, right? Or is it we can derive equal? Yeah, deriving OR just makes comp return partial comp, right? Or unwrap it or something? I can't remember. How's it coming together? It's coming together really well. The current feature working out is fixing the order in which keys come out for hold tap. I found that as a bug last night, so in the just following the guide from QMK. So the specific thing I was finding is rolling keys. Like, which one? This one. Depending on if it's a nested press or a rolling press. Like this one. This was not coming out as FJ, this is coming out as JF for me. So I need to get the order correct. The order, it's going to be like, the order is always in the order in which they were pressed, not the order in which they were released or the decision was made for the tapping term, right? So F came first because we pressed F first in both that case and this case, right? F is first because it was pressed down first. We had to delay it because we didn't know if it was shift or F at the time. So on my implementation, sometimes it was reversing that order. So now we need to keep the order strict by push time. So I'm working on that. Once I get that working, the next feature was going to be this cleaner way of describing the key configuration. So right now it's hard-coded like this. And I have no concept of which keys are hold tap or modifier or any of that. That's all like hacked in. So I'm going to upgrade this structure here to something that captures not just the key code for each key, but also is it a hold tap? And then if it's a hold tap or a modifier, and if it's either one of those, then is it a shift, control, alt, GUI, left, right, or a layer toggle or a layer yeah, basically a layer toggle, and then which layer. So I want to put that all into this, and then remove all my hard-coded stuff. You have automated tests for the logic? Unfortunately, I don't, because I've gotten sloppy. I probably should. I should have unit. You caught me. I do have unit tests, but only for the protocol I use between boards right now. I call IBC for interboard protocol. So that I have tests for encoding and decoding of all the different messages, and also there's a codec for basically finding the beginning of a message in a string of bytes, and it revolves around this FF byte being a marker. We always put it at the beginning and the end, and then if FF is in the message, it gets encoded as FEO2, and then FE comes out as FEO1. So I have unit tests for all of those. And I guess there's only 3 tests I needed. So yeah, I could get better at this. Kind of gotten sloppy. As for standard, it's pretty easy to tell what's an alloc via standard. Standard is IO, FS, net, sync, process OS plus alloc equals core. Yeah, so if I have alloc, really the only thing I'm missing, it's stuff that the kernel would need to support, like you're saying. Processes, network, file system. Yeah, it makes sense. Well, there's one exception to that, Musin. I found out yesterday. It was the hash map. Hash map is not available in alloc. This is a good trivia question for Musin. Can you tell me without looking it up why it's the wrong place to search? Why hash map is not in alloc? There's actually a really good reason, and I didn't know what it was. How come it's not showing up? Hash map, that's why. So hash map is not in alloc. There is a reason why. Okay, you see, Musin always knows the answer. Indeed. It's because it relies on a random number generator for the seed, and random number generator is something the kernel provides. You got it. You passed. You passed my test. Okay, what's the last change I did? I think it's safe to do that. We'll find out. Yes, so here we go. Start simulating key. I need to know when it was pushed down. Find all references. Okay, so I need it from the queued keys also. So queued keys needs to have not just the key code, but the time it was pressed. Actually, why don't I just make that a timed key? Easy. Alright, so when we put it into the queue, we need to make this a timed key. Key index, and then push time is now. There we go. You can use hash brown to get around that. It'll ship with userland PRNG. Yeah, but we have B-tree map, and that's suitable for what little I need of it. Actually, I'm getting rid of most of my B-tree maps, right? The hold start times, key transition times are also B-tree maps, but those are the only 2 B-tree maps I have left. Okay, that's where we put it into the queue. Okay, I also do it down here. Can I just copy this? Actually, no, I can't do it here. Okay, here I need the push time, which we get when we remove it. So we should say if let some push time equals that. Right. Okay. That was important. Okay. So the start simulated key, call from start submitting queued keys, and here we get not a key index, but a timed key. So we can rename this timed key. Okay, and then timed key dot key index. Key index. And we don't use pushback, right? Is it just push? Yes. Great. Right, so now we don't do pop front, we do pop, right? Right. And that is not a key index, that's a timed key. Key index. Okay, removed there. And can we do a peak? We can do a peak. And this is again a timed key. So we're gonna print out the key index there, and that'll auto deref it, right? Right. Cool. Okay, let's try this. Is it time to implement your own hash map? That might be a little fun, but let's finish this project first. I'm all about like taking excursions to do interesting things, but I'm so close to finishing this keyboard, I kind of want to get it finished. Okay, whenever this happens, what I'm going to do is just hit close, reset the board, and try again, because it's faster than waiting for it. Okay, it's doing it again. I don't know why it does this, but I don't mind just resetting until we connect. It's still doing it. Why is this doing it? I don't know. Maybe it's caught on to my strategy and now I just need to wait for it. Some pointers perhaps. How about this? Flash map. Its only slow side is the get versus a normal hash map. Depending on how often you do get on a map versus iterate versus contains, a B-tree map usually be faster. Right. Because B-tree map, you're really just walking the data structure, right? So it can be, yeah. Anyway, I had to think about that. I actually don't see why a B-tree map is necessarily faster. Is it because of how it's implemented internally? Because I would imagine a hash map is just, it's a sparser data structure, right? And would it be just slower because it takes longer to go from one element in it to the next, where B-tree map, they're more directly tied by links or something like that? Okay, let's test. So file, new file. Okay, individual taps are still working. Great. How about mod tap with a normal key? That still works. And how about if I roll through it? Still works. Cool. And now 2 mod tap keys. Hey, I think I fixed it. Okay, what if now, instead of rolling through these two, I do that, but I do it fast enough. Okay, now the key got lost there. Definitely the key got lost, so what happened? This last one, right? This. So, this key went down. Hold on, do I need to back up a little bit? I think I do. Yeah, right here. So, yeah, first one is the left key went down. Then the right key went down. Then the left key went up. Wait. Q, I see the Q of key 0. Oh, here's the problem. Simulation 6 start 0 end, 6 start 6 end? That's wrong. Maybe we're pulling out of the wrong... I think we might be pulling out of the wrong... yeah, it started 6 and then it pulled 0 out instead of 6. Okay, so there's something wrong in the ordering. Is pop not the correct one? It removes the greatest item and returns it. What does peek do? Peek returns the greatest item. Well then... Am I doing simulation of in a different place, maybe? Oh, I am. Start simulating keys called by... Oh, this is the wrong one. Hold on. Yeah, we can't do this. It has to... Yeah, okay. It has to... It has to push them all in and then take the first one out. It can't just do the first one. It disregards its time. Hash map is sparse, speech type means dense. Yeah, that's pretty much all I know. Other than that, like, I would have to look at how the implementation is made. Hash map has to go from bucket to bucket, and then through the right bucket to find the... Oh, so that's why it's slower? Okay. Guess hash map going through a bucket means lots of missed caches and the size grows? Yeah, okay. It's a nice C small hash function. Hash brown, which is what standard uses, though, doesn't do the traditional sparse layout. Cool. Okay, I think my problem here is that we always want to push it. Oh, hold on. That's not true. If it's empty, we could just do it now, right? Okay, what this tells me is it was empty. We started it, we pushed one in, and then another one got pushed in, and it didn't go immediately. How could that happen? Queued keys? Oh, I see. Because we had 2 of them queued, but they were queued in the order in which they were queued. That was actually the flipped order. All right, so then I'm just going to combine these two because I think it makes more sense that we would push them in. This now is never used, right? Okay, it's used there. Right. Okay. This is always called when, okay, we actually could have a simulated key. No, we only start simulating keys when this becomes true, right? I think so. I'm just gonna do it safe. I'm gonna do it safely though. So basically, if this is true, we want to start the first key, right? So I'll let start first simulated key equals this. Remove the if. Then we're just pushing them, and then it'll be if that is true. Then we're doing this. And then it should tell me that this function is not called anymore, right? Hold on, I need to fix the errors here. it would be the first one, right? So let... Well, I can just play it safe and say and... Well, right here, if let some timed key equals self dot queued keys dot peak. Then we get that timed key out. Or is it, what is it? Oh, that should be simulated keys. Yeah, there's where now is used. I see some duplicated code, that and that. I'm wondering if I could just call that. So this is only when one ends and the next one begins. So we need the beginning of the first one. So I guess I'll keep this. All right, so yeah, it should tell me now that I never call this one, right? Yeah, so I can remove that. And then I have an error here somewhere. Where's my error? Up here. Ord. What's wrong with ord? Oh, so I really am supposed to implement ord myself? Okay. I just kind of follow what the compiler tells me to do. There. Compiler happy now? Yes. Yeah, things are going well here. Hey, Stripe Monkey. I'm just fixing a problem in key ordering. When we had nested key, looks like this, versus a rolled key, which looks like this. So they weren't both in the correct order. And I didn't detect that yesterday. And so once I finish with that, the plan is to refactor and clean up. Right now I have the hard-coded key map. I'm going to make it more complete and then make it programmable. And then I don't know if I'll do it on stream or not, but the program I use, it's called program because we're programming the board. This one I use that's just showing the log now, I'll also have like an actual display of like a rendition of the keyboard, and we'll be able to like program which keys mean what, and it'll basically package up the config and send it to the board, and it'll write to flash memory. Every time we boot, it reads from that, and it'll get that configuration from a programmable part of flash separate from the program, rather than it being encoded into the program there. Ord requires trust from the user. Rust won't derive traits. Yeah, but you can derive equal from partial equal. It's just saying that it's just a statement, right? It's a claim that you're making. It's not a real implementation. That was my understanding. Okay, testing again. Actually, I can do it with this keyboard, right? Control A. So individual taps still work. Okay, and then mod tap works. Okay, rolling. I have to roll fast. I'm trying to roll, but sometimes I don't do it. I don't do it fast enough. And then, yeah, okay, it's still now it works. It's always in the order of A1 if I do it fast enough. If I do it fast enough, it's in the correct order now, whether that was a nested versus a roll. Okay, I think I fixed the bug. It's all, if I'm too slow, it does an exclamation mark. If I'm too fast, if I'm fast enough, it does an A1. I should never see a 1A. A 1A would indicate that the order is wrong, because I'm always pressing the left key down first. If I do it the other way and I press the right key down first, then I get the 1A, or I get a Control A, like that. Okay, I fixed it. Or does have an implementation, it can break the invariance of partial ORed. Yeah, and that gets into an area that I always forget the explanation for it. I don't know why, it just never sticks with me. Okay, we're going to check this in and move on to the next test. So this one is fix ordering issue with nested versus rolled keys. Okay, if you nest or roll two mod or hold, in general, hold tap keys and release both within the tapping term, the order in which the two keys are subsequently simulated should be dictated by the order in which you press the keys. So that's what our change guarantees, just by remembering the press time, and then when we queue them, or basically when we start simulating them, we use a heap map, a binary heap, to simulate them in the correct order. Okay, I like it. Let's move on. Think I fixed the bug is a strong suggestion to replace finger timings with deterministic events for testing. I know, Hitas. You're right. You're right. That's what I need to do when I do the next time I feel like refactoring. How about this? I promise that the next time I feel like refactoring, I will go into this where this logic lives right now, which is scan keys, and where I do all of this queuing of keys, and then when I do where is it? This start simulating queued keys and then check for simulated keys done and all this stuff. This stuff will be moved out to independent functions that are independent of the keyboard that I can test. Right now, it uses actual sampled timer values. If it's independent, then I can just manufacture these times, right? And then I can just simulate all the possible combinations. That's what I should do. In the more fundamental parts of Rust, there's a concept of structural equal on the partial variant, which solves the breaking of invariance contract of equal. A type only implements structural equal if the compiler derives the partial equal plus equal. Okay, now you've gone past my level of understanding, but that's okay. You really like the off-the-shelf knowledge Musen has? Yeah, Musen is a treasure trove of knowledge about Rust, definitely. It's always a blessing when he's in chat, and when he's streaming and you want to see some really cool Rust development, you should definitely check out his channel. Should definitely check out and follow Musen's channel. The only downside of Musen's channel, in my opinion, is that you can't hear his voice or see his face. But he does have some interesting music when he's working. So that's the plus that goes with that. Hey there, 85 Filter, how are you today? Ordering isn't as fundamental as equality, so it just relies on either trusting the compiler or making sure greater than and less than are correct logically, partial and totality. Yeah, like A less than B should give you the same result as B greater than A, right? That's as much math as I can understand. Okay, I'm moving on to the next task. So fix the bug. So the next task I want to do was this cleaner way to describe what the keys do and then allow them to be programmable. So the allow them to be programmable part is when I have what the keys can do all in one data structure, we make sure we can serialize it, and then we can construct it on the host side serialize it and send it to the keyboard, and the keyboard can save it in flash memory somewhere. That's what this reserve memory means. And then when we boot up the keyboard, it will read it from flash memory and deserialize it. And then we can use that rather than having the hard-coded array that I have up here. So I think the first step is we'll still have a hard-coded block, but it will be a more complete block, and we'll remove the mod tap hacks that I had before. So that means that I really want to have a structure for this. Actually, before I get too far, maybe... No, I'll wait till I refactor. This really belongs in another module. But I'll wait till we refactor to do that. Let's just define it right now. So struct... Let's call it key configuration. Or key config for short. How lazy am I? Well, this is Rust, so we can type fewer characters, right? So a key config, fundamentally, it has a key code, right? Which is my term for the U8 that we actually put into the human interface device report, right? If you were to tap it. Actually, this should be optional, right? And actually, no. Key code is only one thing it can be. It can also be a modifier. So really, it's what is it? It's tap. What is it when you tap the key, right? And then that means I need another type, like key tap or key... I don't know. A name that describes that it could either be a key code or a modifier or a layer switch, like key meaning. How about key meaning? For lack of a better term, so it's an enum. Key meaning. So we have like key code. U8. Can't type 8 for some reason. And then we have modifier. And I suppose here it can be a bitmap, right? So we can use a U8 again. So there's no reason why a key can't be both shift and control, right? Assert both bits at once. Why not? And then we have layer. And then in the future, I'll have things like one shot. But for now, I think it's fine to just have layer, and then that's like a layer toggle while it's being held. And I guess I might as well use a U8 again. Okay, so we have tap and then we have hold, right? And for hold, I think I'll just also use I'll make it an optional. I almost typed optional there. So if hold is something, that means that the key means something different if you hold it down. And I don't think we'll ever use a key code for a hold. I think actually, we could though, right? Holding down a key long enough could just generate a different key, like a capital. Okay, yeah, so let's just go with that. If key isn't taken, then key code, key modifier is a nice sound to it. But yeah, I have trouble with a short name like key because it seems ambiguous to me. Key code, I've kind of used that term in a bunch of places, and that means something specific to me. Where have I used that? If I search for it, it'll show it, right? If we ignore case. Yeah, so there's this struct key codes, and it really is just a managed array of 6 fields. And that's specifically placed into, it's not showing it right now. It would be when we generate the report. We do that at the end of scan keys. How come it doesn't say key codes down there? Oh, because it's key codes. Right, so you see I use the word key codes like in a lot of places. So that means something very specific to me. But why should I be married to that term? Why not just call it key? Struct key data kind, key kind. So that's the alternative. You're suggesting that I break out the associated data and just keep it bare. I kind of don't like that. That's the C approach, where to interpret data you have to look at kind. I'd rather have it be bound to it. That way, maybe I decide later I want to have. Maybe I decide later I want to have U32 there. Now I've broken the ability to make data a separate thing, right? Because the type actually might be different. I think, right, it's just a coincidence that's a U8. Here, that means a USB key code as specified in the human interface doc specification. This one's a bitmap, and then this one is an index. So they just all coincidentally are U8. Remove the tuple variant from keykind, totally unrelated to my problem. This is a fantastic write-up of how state-of-the-art developed during 2000 to find MD5 collisions in 2 images. Well, that's cool. Yeah. You know, rabbit holes can be fun because you end up learning a lot of things that are fascinating. To be honest, it'll never be more than U8. That's true. Modifier we might have more of if we expand beyond USB spec, right? It's just that it happens to be in the USB spec, we have 8 bits for modifiers, right? So it's sort of constrained to that. There can be more than U8 key codes? I don't think so. At least not in USB. I think this bitmap... Not the bitmap. I think the reports are bytes, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Each button in an array reports an assigned number called an array index can be translated into a key code by looking up the array elements usage pays, and usage. For a list of standard key codes, see appendix A. Is that where I was looking before? Kind of confusing because there's more than one kind of human interface device. There's the mouse is also a human interface device. And it's kind of hard to describe or to understand their descriptors. You see, B2 is mouse. So B1 is keyboard, right? So where in here is the key code? There's usage page key codes, but what does that look like? I think it's this report size, because the report count is that's 6, so you can have a maximum of 6 keys in the boot level keyboard protocol, right? So I think that 8 there is the key. That means you can only have 8 bytes for the total size of the report, I think. I could be wrong. I think there's actually a limitation. You can't have more than 256 key codes. Does it mention optional type? Optional is core option for, yeah. That's why I almost typed optional, because at work I use C++ and I'm used to doing optional with AL. Sonography keys usually go towards less keys and more chording. That's true. $256 directions instead of 4. Yeah. I wonder if I can get a straight answer from a DuckDuckGo search. So keyboard number possible key codes. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's sort of implied by... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. E8 to FFFF. That actually implies you could have more than 8 bits, doesn't it? They're just reserved. Interesting. Huh. Okay, well, that proved me wrong. So, Hittis, you're right. You not necessarily are limited to 8 bits for a key code. This implies 16 bits, but that they're typically not used. Oh, I wanted to remember a link to this because I used this before to find A and 1, right? Is it? Except that this is hex. So 30 would be 1E? 1E. Yeah, 1. All right. Let me save this link. This will be useful later. Links. Oh. Okay, I already have a link for it. Which one's better? This one's in the form of a header file? I don't think this one is as good because this one didn't describe... Okay, it has it in comments. Post fail and error undefined and rollover error. Okay. 0 means no key pressed. Yeah. This one actually looks better. It's just in white, but we can grab the text out of it and make it dark mode again, right? And this one ends at FB. This one ends at E7. Why is that? What is E7 here? Keyboard right GUI. Keyboard right GUI. What's the E8? Media keys. So this one didn't list media keys? Okay, so maybe this gist is technically better because it lists media keys and this one doesn't? Does this one mention the word media? Nope. So this page might be old, actually. It says 2021, though. Why does it not mention media keys? Huh. Interesting. I wonder how universal these media keys are. I thought I had trouble with some of these when with QMK, like, on my Mac. There's a coffee key? What, you push it, you get more coffee? Ooh, there's a sleep. I need more sleep. I press that to get more sleep. Anyway, enough of this digression. What you're looking at is the hid up usage table, which has a document from the USB org. Yeah, that's what this one was. This is the USB human interface device class definition. It's just, I don't know if it's in here or not, but I don't think this actually specifies key codes. It specifies the modifiers and the output report somewhere. Yeah. Right, here are the modifiers. But I don't think I never found key codes in this document. Like, escape doesn't show up, right? And escape is definitely a key. Beep beep. So it's sort of incomplete. Maybe there's an addendum to this that I never found. Oh, is that the one I'm missing? Okay, thank you. I knew I was missing something, so let me save that. Desktop, and then let's drag it in other documents here. Hold on, I need to hide some windows to get at the thing on my desktop now. Okay, drag it in here. Attachment. Hid usage tables. Okay, hid usage tables. USB hid usage tables. Thank you, Musin. That's worth some points, right? That's worth 5 points. Here, have some useless internet points. This file claims compliance with the PDF-A standard has been open read-only to prevent modification. Sounds good to me. I wonder why I didn't find this in my initial, like, searches. Okay, so this probably has escape, right? There we go. So, does it have the media keys? Media. Okay, there they are. But no code for it? Oh, what's going on? It wasn't drawing correctly for some reason. Yeah, let's do record. Okay, I need to search something more searchable. Coffee. Coffee's a good search term, right? Nope, it's not in there. Look at consumer usage page. Will do. Oh, there's sleep. Section 15.3. So does that match? I keep going to the wrong page. How does that match up with this? Play, pause, stop CD. I have a feeling that I'm gonna have to read this front to back to really understand like how it maps to these key codes. Unless maybe what happened is this person just went into the reserved range and just assigned them for some reason. Play, pause. Yeah, it's a different code. These look to me because this range beyond E7 was marked as reserved, right? I wonder if he just took his favorite media keys and just assigned them into the reserved range. Yeah, I think to understand what this means and how it relates to key codes, I think I'd have to read this from the beginning. And I'm not going to read a document while I'm streaming. That would be asking you guys way too much patience. Let's just proceed with this. So, if a key config is that, then this key code really needs to be called key configs. And it's not a U8 anymore, it's a key config. All right, and there are 12 of them. We have tap is key meaning key code 4. Hold is key meaning modifier 2. And then the next key is 5 with no meaning for hold. Oh, this should be sum. All right, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Okay, and then repeat it for the right side. And it's 30 to 36 here. So 30, and that's control. So I'm just putting it to where it matches what I already have programmed, but just described in one place and not hard-coded. 34 and 35. The goal is that this would know, in the end, it wouldn't go here. It would be fully programmed in by the the monitor app that I have, or the manager app, the settings app, whatever you want to call it. And this is where we get into like QWERTY versus Dvorak versus Colmac, and then how we set up certain keys to be mod tap. That's a mod tap key, right? Because if you tap it, it means one thing, and if you hold it, it means something else. A modifier in this case. And these are all just normal keys that have no hold meaning. All right, so we're gonna break key codes, right? So here's our first fix me. Here's where we need to inspect the key configs, right? So then let's just grab a borrow of key configs. We can do it up here, right? Let key config equal this, and we'll borrow from it. And then it should be like, this is replaced with if key config dot hold dot isSum. This would be what? Add the tap code, right? So key config tap dot oh, wait. I just thought of something. Tap is a key meaning. And that key meaning can mean one of three things. Yes, so I think this is the point at which I need to, this needs to be put into a function called like apply key. Apply key meaning to key code, to the key codes and modifiers, right? So it would be something like, apply self dot apply key, and we'd like have to mutably borrow the key codes and the modifiers. Actually, we don't have to borrow the modifiers because the modifiers are in self already, right? It's just key codes that we're forming, and it would be the key config. Right. Okay, so let's make this apply key function. It can go up here. Mute self. Key codes is mutable key codes. And then, actually, I don't know if that's the type. Yeah, it is, right? There we go. And then it's key meaning, or key... I keep thinking that maybe Musen was right, and I should have just called it a key. Well, we can do a mastery name later, you know? So I'm going to grab this out, go to there, and paste it for now. Oh, it's key config. Oh, shoot. I got that wrong. That's a key config. Wait a minute. No, it's not. I didn't mean to pass key config. It should be key config.tap. There. And we're borrowing from that. All right. So I have to do a match on the meaning. Right? Because now there are three possible things. If it's a key code, then we add it to key codes. And that is key code. All right? But it means something different if it's a modifier. This will be dereference. So, modifiers, because it actually could be more than one. So that's where we want to apply it to the raw modifiers, right? So modifiers raw or equal modifiers. Okay. And then I guess we'll leave layer to do because I haven't added layers yet. If using Rust Analyzer, then F2 will rename the symbol and I'll use it. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I love that refactoring thing. You just F2 and you type in the new name and it you can even do Shift Enter to preview it before you do it and all that stuff. Okay, remove is the opposite of apply, right? So maybe it would be maybe apply key should be renamed something else, like actually let's call it assert key. I like that. Actually no, assert is bad because it's like an assertion. Okay, what's a synonym for assert? Like activate key? Deactivate key? Let's call it activate key and deactivate and deactivate key. Okay, so deactivate would be remove. And for modifiers it would and equal the bit opposite or inverse of modifiers. Okay, so then this one would be self.deactivate key. Key meaning key config.tap, right? I think so. Although, wait a minute. I think this really should have been pushed into this else, into this, into the if, right? Or the else of this thing. Okay, so then that tells me, borrow that, end that, make sure that compiles. It doesn't, so what did I do wrong? It's not key meaning, what is it? Key config. I think that meant to go into the else, but why did I put it up there to begin with? That's because if it's a mod tap, then we see if it should be a tap. Oh right, that's why. This is if it's a tap, and this is if it's a hold. If it was a tap, okay. So then what I'll do is I'll have to put this in an else. Paste it there, but then I also want to paste it here as well, don't I? Oh no, I don't. Actually, yeah, we don't need to deactivate it if it's a hold tap because we haven't activated it in the first place. Here's where we make the decision. We either queue it or we or it's been activated as a as something else. Oh, right. So then this becomes deactivate its hold as ref unwrap. Right? And then I don't need this anymore. Let's move this info into deactivate key for now, so I can continue to see that info. So that would go in between those two lines. And then let's just say deasserting modifiers, and then we'll just print it out. So it's 06 binary modifiers. And let me do the same thing up here. only this is asserting modifier. Actually, and then let's say, let's fix the terms. Activate ing and deactivating. I wonder if that means I should do activating key code here. I don't think so, because I didn't care to see him before. Okay, so I'm going to leave that as is and move down right to here. So that takes the place of this. Okay, I realized I didn't need that at all. That's fine, and format has inline interpolations now, so log works now? Huh. I am on nightly, so it's not even a question of stable versus nightly. Should I give that a try? I kind of like the old way, though. Let me see what it would look like. Maybe this will change my mind. You're saying that I can say modifiers and then remove this? I mean, it seems happy with it. So if I remove that, would it not be happy with it because that doesn't exist? Look at that. Is that nicer? We'll leave it. I'm just not used to it. It looks weird to me. It reminds me of JavaScript. So let a equals 42 print a is valid now. I mean, it's easier for new people learning languages to understand, right? You could say, well, that modifiers is the same variable. In fact, it's putting it in the correct colors for a variable name. Just a random heads up, you don't really like it. You don't like it? I think you probably have the same reaction I do. You're just not used to it. But I've seen this in other languages, and so with that recollection of how it was like in the other languages, I can kind of appreciate the fact that you don't have two separate lists that have to be mapped between cognitively. Here they're mentioned where they're in place, where they're used. To me, that justifies that it could be okay. But I can understand how unusual that looks, in that you kind of have to search for the colon. You have to parse this, right? You have to parse this, whereas in before, you didn't really have to parse it. It was obvious that it's been separated for you, right? It's just that this has the problem of, if there's more than one thing here, you have to find where it maps to, right? I can understand it either way. Let me try out the new way. You name the bindings in the arg list, yeah. So they're not removing the old way. They're just, that's now as an alternative way to do it. Okay, am I done? No, there's still a fix me up here, right? So this is just replaced with if. We already have a reference to it, right? Key config. Actually, I already had it up here. If key config hold is some. If it has a different meaning if held down, then see if the tapping term has not expired, then we need to queue it. Right, and if it did expire, then we applied the hold, so now we're deactivating the hold. Otherwise, you were deactivating the tap. Okay, that works, and we can remove the fix me. Okay. And then this is also no longer an experiment. This is the actual code. So if we press down the key and it's a hold key, oh, this is telling me I probably don't need this bracket. Beep beep. Beep beep. There we go. If we're holding down the key and the key has a hold meaning, and we don't have any of the decisions pending, then we immediately preserve the modifiers and say we did so. Then, whether or not this was the first hold in pending hold, we add it to the pending hold collection. If hold has no meaning, And if we're not needing to make a decision, we activate the tap right away. Otherwise, we have to queue it because we're still doing a hold tap decision. That makes sense to me. All right, so then if it was not a press, then it's a release. If it's a release, then if it had a meaning for hold, see if tapping term is not expired yet, we queue it as a tap, I guess. Yeah, this queue is always going to be taps, right? Otherwise, we deactivate the hold. And if it wasn't a hold tap, we just deactivate its tap right away. Okay, that looks good to me. What do we need to do down here? Simulate. Okay, yeah. So we're always, for simulated keys, we're always using the tap, right? So then I can just do key configs that dot tap. Oh, wait, we made a function for this, right? Activate key. Key code's already is a mutable reference. Key meaning is this. There we go. Do I need to borrow that? Okay. So since I use that twice, let's just get a reference to it up here. So like let key meaning equal that. And then we can just use, well, this one is self.deactivate key. And this one's activate key, right? Self.activate key. All right, we have a warning. What is the warning? The warning is that I can just unwrap it. I don't need to get a reference to it because unwrap gives me a reference. Yeah, that's right. I'm glad you gave me a warning, compiler. And yeah, we're not using layer yet. Can I hide that? Let's allow dead code here. Let me put a to do here. To do. Remove this attribute once we add the code to support layers, which might be tonight, although I'm kind of running low on time. You can put that allow in the variant instead of the holy num. Okay. I wasn't sure. You're saying I can do that, right? Cool. Yeah, I just don't like to see any warnings. All right, here we go. Reprogramming the keyboard again. And this problem, so close it, reset it, try again, and it's going this time. You have a snippet that fixes all those warnings during development. You do? Hey there, Iamino. How are you doing? I am cleaning up the hacked hold tap code from yesterday. So now it should be reading from one place all the keyboard meanings. Right here, key configuration. So the first key here has a hold meaning of the shift modifier, or a tap for key code 4, which is an A. So if I tap it, it's an A. If I hold it and press another key, it's a shift. If I press the other key alone, it's not shifted. And we just verified it worked. And then this key should be a 1. So if I shift it, it's a exclamation. If I don't shift it, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I can get a, if I do a control A, that's select all. So I didn't break anything. It still works. Great. Please go away, insert config at your debug assertions, allow dead code, and use variables at the top of the file. Awesome, Musin. I love that. I just get lazy and I will type it once in one project and just copy paste it from one project to another. I'll be like, what was that project where I got fed up with the compiler warnings? Oh yeah, that one. Let me copy from there. Suppresses dead code and unused variables. Yeah, it makes sense. Puts your cursor at the end if the list you want to add more. Please go away. Is there anything else you want suppressed? Okay, so now that we have this, oh, I wanted to support where a tap. I wanted to test this. I actually don't know if this will work, but it should work. Well, let's make one of these keys a dedicated shift key. Which one to make a shift key? I need to sacrifice a key. How about this one? So this will mean a modifier 2. Actually, you know what I feel like is turning that into modifiers. There, done. So now it's a dedicated shift key. Let's see if that worked. So quit this. Of course, I can't press B anymore, but who needs B? B is such a rarely used letter anyway, right? Who needs it? Reprogramming, standby, flashing, rebooting, and done. Okay, connecting, that's fine. We don't need it to connect. Let's just test. So tapping should do nothing other than hold down shift. So 1, 2, shift, 1, 2. Works. Great. Worked first time. Don't you love it when things work the first time? If only this would connect. There we go. Okay, so let's see if it says the right thing. If I tap it, there's the raw, there's the debounced. Why did we preserve modifiers? Okay, that might be a bug. We don't need to preserve the modifiers. And we didn't need to simulate it either. Oh, because I pressed the hold. Okay, ignore that one. I pressed the wrong key. That was the hold tap key. So if I press the dedicated one, what does it do? Yeah, the dedicated one, there's the raw, there's the debounced, and then it just activated the modifier right away. It dropped the preserved modifiers. Why do we have dropped preserved modifiers there? Anyway, it picked up the raw modifier. I think actually that's by design, right? I'll have to look in the code. Anyway, we ended up with no keys but shift held. And then here's where we released it. It deactivated the shift. I think this is just misnamed, this dropping preserved modifiers thing. Let me find where it says that, dropping. That's like strangely worded. So that's if there are no hold tap decisions to make. Then if we have any queued keys, simulate them. But if there aren't any simulated keys and the modifiers are different, then we drop any modifiers that are preserved. Yeah, but this is worded strangely. It shouldn't say dropping preserved modifiers. It should be like applying modifiers, or changing modifiers changed. Modifiers changed. Was something, is now something else. Right? Yeah, that's a better message. Okay, so that's just the format of this message changed. Cool, so we have dedicated shift, looks like this, and a tap looks like that, and then here's a hold that turns into a shift, and then release. So there's the hold, so we see it raw, and then it debounces, and then we, I need to look, why are we preserving modifiers there? Oh, right, because we haven't yet made, whenever there's any hold tap decision to make and we haven't made it yet, we have to preserve the modifiers. All right, that was one of the rules. That was this rule back on the QMK's diagram. I think it was 3. Yeah, it was active mod tap. The modifiers are preserved until the mod tap decision can be made. That was rule 3 for active mod tap. So that's correct. So then after 200 milliseconds, it asserts shift, and we see it there. And then when we release the key, it debounces it, and then it deactivates shift, and we're back to no keys pressed with no modifiers. That's number 7 rarest. Only X, Q, Z, Q, X, J, K, and V are more rare. I press K a lot more often than I press B for some reason. I know this because I'm practicing Colmac and I still have problems with B, but I have K down, like, maybe I'm just better at pressing K or something, but I always mess up B and the key next to it, which is P. P and B, I always get those confused, but I have K down flat. Yeah, V I still have trouble with. I don't have any trouble with Q, X, or Z because those are the same on Colmac versus QWERTY. Alright, is this good to check in now? We've completed a task. Yay! Let's check it in. Let me review the change. So, we removed the hard-coded key codes here and replaced it with a neat little key config where we can have a hold tap, a dedicated modifier, or a dedicated key code. And we have space to implement layers, although we're not using them yet. We have activate and deactivate key, takes care of updating the key codes array. Okay, it'll remove that hack so that we're looking at the actual key config. And then we're calling activate key, and then we're calling, we moved this so that it's down here now, and drop the commented out code. This hacked deassert is now deactivate. All right, and then fix the wording of that one. Right, add is now activate key. Remove is deactivate. Looks good. I say it's good. Let's git commit it. So this is clean up. Oh, one more thing I want to check. Is there any more fix me's? There is a fix me. Oh, I need to fix that. Okay, abort. Delete all that. Save, and so that doesn't actually commit it. It's aborted commit. Yeah, because we forgot this part. All this needs to be fixed, right? Yeah. So let's do this properly. The comment should say something like, actually, we need to iterate through hold start times, don't we? Yeah, we need to iterate through all the hold start times, and if any entry has exceeded the tapping term, then we make the decision by applying the hold meaning. So apply hold meaning of any hold plus tap keys that have been held down for, or at least, that have been held down for the minimum hold time, because that's what this constant's used for. Practicing a layout where there's no key for X, or for Q and Z. Why did I say X when you wrote Q and Z? Is that just a brain malfunction? What do you do for Q and Z? Is it for a language that doesn't use those letters? Instead, they're coded in. Yeah, I want to support what I call combos. And that's what you're calling a chord, I think. So pressing 2 keys simultaneously or near enough together would have a yet another meaning. Maybe I'm not using the right word though. But that's what I meant by combos. Let me verify that before I move on, because if combos means yet another thing, then maybe I want to support both of them. QMK combos. That's not the right one. Is it this one? No, I want to see the QMK docs. Combos. Combos is a chording type solution for lets you hit multiple keys at once. So it's the same thing. What they call a combo in QMK is what you're calling a chord. Yeah, so that's on my list to support. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So actually, just so I can remember that, AKA chording. Pointer equal doesn't have a U. What does that mean? Oh, you mean EQU? So you'd be hard to type EQ. So I have a solution I'm using. He would type his chord for QU and then hit backspace. Easy. QU backspace. But then he would never be able to type code in the no backspace challenge. That would make it hard, right? Okay, so we're going to go through all of these things, right? And here's the problem is that I can't just iterate through this. I have to possibly remove the entries. So what I should just do is I should collect all the ones that are due. So let hold keys due equal self hold times filter map Actually, what I'd really like to use is drain map, but that's not supported yet, or drain filter, right? Something like that. Like, I'd like to filter map with the drain or something. Anyway, let's do filter map for now. So what we're going to get from the map are two things, right? The key index and the hold time. Or down hold time? Not hold, start time. And then we're going to collect it into our favorite data structure type, the vector. Okay, the logic in here would be if this is true, if now minus start time is greater than or equal to minimum hold milliseconds, then it's some key index. Else it's none. Alright, and then what's wrong with this? Oh, I gotta do iter.
They sound like they're having fun. Hazel.
The dog barking right next to me.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey.
You don't have to bark when the kids go to bed. You don't need to. Yeah, so she understands. She knows she's in trouble. Okay, so for key index in hold keys do. Then we'll just apply this stuff, right? And we're already doing that if we do self.activate key. The key meaning is, oh, we have to look that up. It's key configs key index as usize, and then dot hold dot unwrap, or is it dot as ref dot unwrap? Okay, what did I do wrong in this line? I don't know, but it's not happened. What did I do wrong here? Expected an item. Okay, what did I do wrong in that line? Oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay, so what's wrong with this? This probably needs to be, oh, is this giving me references? Yeah, I don't want references. I want, to dereference there, because I don't want to hold on to the borrow, because the whole point of this is to do self.hold start times.remove the key index. Like that. Alright, and we can't do that remove if self was already borrowed to iterate hold times, right? Okay, so then I should be able to drop all this stuff here. There we go. Not going to promote this, but bool then and bool then sum are now stable. They are? Well, it doesn't even matter because I'm using nightly. I'm just not used to using bool then. So you're saying I can do this, then sum key index? So it would look like something like this. You're probably going to say that it just looks ugly. It works, right? See, yeah. I think you're not going to promote it because it looks weird, right? It is kind of nice to be able to get rid of the code smell of having an if else turn into a sum none, which is probably why they added that, right? Yeah, you're saying it can make the code very unreadable, but that's not too bad, is it? Filter map, that's not too bad. Could be abused. Let's not abuse it. Musin, we give you a license to abuse it because you do really fun challenges like iterator only code. But yeah, let's not abuse it. I think this is fine. It's not an abuse, right? I would like to be able to combine these and do this comparison and this activate key and the remove all in one loop rather than looping twice and having to allocate memory. I understand why. It's because it was a multi-borrow, because we're iterating that, and then we're having to borrow from self again to activate the key. But yeah, you think I should be able to? But I'm calling activate key, which needs a mutable reference to self, while I'm iterating through something that I wouldn't be able to just iterate. I'd have to mutably iterate it in order to drain stuff out of it, right? What's hold start times type? It's going to be a it's a B tree map. So I don't think that we can mutably iterate through that and be calling activate key at the same time. Mem take and then replace to get around mutable borrows. Function type is a zero alloc new, then it's pretty much free. I see what you're saying. So swap out self hold start times. Then while it's swapped out, iterate through and drain from it, and then put it back when we're done. B-tree map allocates on new. Yeah. Possible refactoring step, right? Let's leave that as is. I want to verify I didn't screw things up. I need to build and test this again before I commit it. Program, please. Okay, we got the pause. So, just because I don't want to wait, just reboot the board. And hey, look at that, no pause. Cheaper than allocating a whole new vec. Yeah, it's a small vec though. The vector's never going to be bigger than the number of hold tap keys that I have, which is going to be probably never more than 8. Because you can't physically hold more than 8 keys, right? Unless you had more than 10 fingers. Hey there, Endurin, how are you doing? Just testing some new features we got here in Endurn. So I have made a nice unhacked, like a cleaner version of the key configuration. Right now, hard-coded, we're going to make this serializable, something that we can send from the host. So like this is basically our key map right now. We have 12 keys. Actually, why don't we just put num keys there? That makes more sense to me. We have 12 keys, right? Okay, what do I have to say? As usize? Seriously? Okay, fine. Wait, I can't say that? Oh, it's no keys times 2. Yeah. Well, let's make another constant for that. Let's call this one num keys per side. I can't type. Right? And this is num keys total. And this is 2 times the number of sides. Or number keys per side times 2. There we go. These are the only 2 constants I'm going to change when I go from this board to the final board. Why do you use Rust instead of C++? Because I enjoy programming in Rust. I've enjoyed it ever since I started learning it, and I program too much in C++ for work. So for this, my hobby, outside of work, I'd rather pick a language I enjoy programming in, and not the one I use for work. So memtake will leave a none in its place, right? So yeah, if I use an option, I can do it too. But I hate doing that. That seems like a cop-out to use an option just to make it so that you can remove pieces of your state and then place them back again. I do that enough. I feel like it's cheating. You can type between keycaps and tap 2 with one finger. True. I have a friend who actually types that way. He'll reach across with his thumb and press multiple keys at once. Another approach is the refactor, which will leverage split bars. You can explain that if you want to know. I'll take a rain check on that music. It sounds really cool, but I don't want to get too far off track. There's no positive oxidation. See, that's true. No positive oxidation. No, C++ perfectly legit option, and I would suggest actually just looking at QMK, which is in C, and then almost there. You would maybe just add some classes and you're done. Just kidding. Yeah, I love using Rust, so that's why I'm picking. That's the only reason I'm doing it. Collect into a vector is a terrible first approach. Yeah, it's like the first approximation, and the second approximation is try to remove all memory allocations. So yeah, anyway, I was explaining to Endurn, who just arrived, that the key configuration is now in one place, and hopefully I've removed all the fix-me's. Yeah, so there are no fix-me's. And we just reprogrammed, so I should test this, right? Okay, so we have our dedicated tap keys, C, D, E, F, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have the mod tap, which is either an A or a shift. So if I tap it, it's A. And if I hold it down and I press C, it's a capital C. Then we have this key is, if I tap it, it's 1. If I hold it down, it's control. So control and then A selects everything. And then I have a dedicated shift here. So if I have a 1, then shift 1 is exclamation mark, right? So, and we can do a rolling mod tap. Oh, bug. Hey, what happened here? Let's see what the log says. Here's what happened, I think. No? No, it began out here somewhere, right here. Let's see what happened. We pressed this key, debounced it. Then on the right-hand side, we pressed this one, so that debounced as that. The right-hand side only knows about one of the keys, but on the left-hand side, we know about both of them. Then the right-hand side released this key, and then we released the left key. Okay, that got queued. Why did we queue key 0 there? Oh, because we released it. Okay, so we released the key, and then we queued an A. And then we released the right-hand side, and that queued a 1. And then we simulated the A, which is there. Oh, there's the bug. We never actually made a new key report. That's the problem. So simulation of key 0 end and 6 start. These should have generated a new key report, and they didn't. Okay, I need to look into that. That's a bug. And meanwhile, we've generated a ton of A's. Can I just press it and release it, and it'll fix it, right? Because there, that's here, right? That just, basically, we needed this. This was missing here. We should have seen a key report as soon as that simulation ended. So what would cause the simulated key press to not work? Let me think about that.
Beep, beep.
Just when I was ready to check it in. Still missed your repeated notes of the combo link above? I thought I got it. Okay, sorry about that. That's just from the QMK guide. Okay, well, I'll put it in my notebook. Thank you very much. So let's just put a link to QMK combos. AKA cording. See, the problem is when I get like deep into trying to figure something out or talk about something, I can end up skipping stuff in chat. Sorry about that. Yeah, my keyboard was laughing at me, wasn't it? Repeated a stuck A key. We don't want stuck keys, though. That's a bad bug for a keyboard to have. I'm looking above to see where I missed your link. Okay, I found it, and I also found I missed one of Musen's comments. You can cheat on Rust Analyzer has a post-fix completion. Oh, this is for the no backspace challenge. Got it. Sounds kind of fun. That means like whenever you mistype something, you have to work around it. That almost seems impossible. Okay, so what happened on simulation of key start and end? Let me find that code again. Okay, here's the code. Now, what could have gone wrong here? We get the tap meaning, and we deactivate that. It will be a key code, so it should have removed it. And that should have activated it. Oh, what does the timestamps? Okay, those two happen back to back. And then, what is that? 40 milliseconds later. So right. The simulation time was correct. It just didn't produce a new key report for some reason. Why didn't that work? We saw the key report had a 4 in it. Why didn't the 4 get removed? It should have. That bothers me. It did say 0, right? So the key index is 0. So it should have gone to index 0, and the tap is key code 4. So why didn't it remove key 4 from the key codes? Maybe it depends on where that's called from. Well, yeah, it would have gone into that. It happens here. Yeah, it borrows the same key codes. It should have gone in and done it. Why didn't it do it? That bothers me. We saw it print that. It should have gone and done that. Why didn't that happen? Remove 4 should have looked for it, found it, and then shifted everything before it and inserted a 0 at the end, but it didn't. Spoiled TikTok generations? It's a bit scary to see conversation disappearing. The way to communicate now is short video. Yeah, I don't like shorts. As in short videos. I'm the previous generation. I'm sorry. I have to pull the old man card and say back in my day that's just not how we communicated. I'm not quite a boomer. I'm like in between. Okay, I don't get it. This is evidence to say that we didn't see that, so it didn't update a key report. Why not? It didn't actually do it until way out here. This is bothering me. This obviously adds 4 to the key report. So that would have added 4, which means it was already in there even though we had that. Maybe key 6 is adding 4 also? Hold on. Timed key. It is bad that I use the same variable name, but could this have used that instead of that? Could that be the problem? Let's call this one like next timed key, so it's unambiguous. Because, right, we pop one out, right? So this is the 0, and then this is the 6. Well, actually, it printed 6, right? It printed 6. Activate key. Oh, here's the bug. I didn't get the key meaning again. So this should be like next key meaning, and that will tell me, oh, you didn't get that, right? So I need to do this. Next key meaning is next timed key. Tap. That's the bug. All right, I'm glad I found the bug. See, and I'm finding bugs by showing Endorn and other people coming to the chat what I've done. If I didn't have Endorn to show stuff to, I wouldn't have found that bug until much later, and it would have been more painful. Bugs are always more painful the longer that time progresses before you actually discover it. You want to find your bugs as quickly as possible. I don't know if Musin is evading the statement. Musin is just... I don't know. Goes deep into subjects, and so... One day we'll have to actually hear what Musin sounds like. Did you miss something? You're away from the computer. Test driven by new Twitch chat is all the rage of the 2020s. Yes, actually that's one of the good things about streaming and chat interactions. People in chat will challenge you to explain it again, challenge you that, hey, did you have a bug there? These are all ways for me to double and triple and quadruple check my code and test again and then actually find more stuff. What was the statement question? So that you can evade it properly? So you were saying, speaking of doing everything on an iterator, you found your greatest work, it was the Twitch bot? I know, I was watching you write that. That was, it's almost like listening to a master at some instrument, musical instrument. It's like the subtlety and the depth to which you go. Yeah, those types are amazing. Diet Semicola? That's a great repo name. Now, do you place a limit on yourself? Like you can only indent to column 50? And then when you get to column 50, now you have to get like super creative about it so that you don't indent so much? Did I see your JVM in one expression? Yeah, the no semicolon challenge. Yeah. It's such an extreme expression of Rust coding that I can't grok it, but I just have to admire that you actually got it to work. It's knowingly indented, yeah. Well, it's hard to avoid the indentation with the no semicolon challenge, right? Okay, we're testing this to make sure that the bug doesn't creep back in. So we're going to go through all the motions. So normal keys. Now the dedicated shift. And now the mod tap. And then the mod hold and tap. And then the control A. Okay. It was the rolling one where I got it, right? Okay, this is broken. It's not shifting it sometimes. Okay, that's broken. I broke the mod thing. Okay, let's look at this to see what happened. Okay, I don't see where it starts, so let's redo it again. Okay, I made it happen again. So here's where it starts. So we pressed and held the 1. Right, so we activated shift, and then we queued key 6, and then wait, what? Okay, what happened here? Debounced that, and then activated the modifier because... Oh, that's the tapping term expiration. It activated the modifier, right? So how did the modifier get back to 0? The modifiers didn't change until way down there. Why? Oh, hold on. I think I might know why. No, I don't know why. What does activating modifiers change again? That changes... Oh, it changes the raw modifiers. Dang. Okay. That's the problem, I think. I understand. This modifier change, I think, is happening too late. Well, actually, no. Hold on. On this, it should have... The next thing should have been modifiers changed. Why come I'm not seeing that? Okay, there's a problem then where the modifiers changed code isn't happening. Modifiers changed. This. That should be true, right? Oh. Is there a simulated key at the same time? Nope, there wasn't. No, there was. Yeah, it was queued. Oh, hold on, what? Why is it queued so late? Okay, where this happened, what did we do? That would have been a key down. It should have said queuing key. But that didn't happen until here. Why did it not happen until there? That's late. Why did that happen so late? Immediately after this, we should have seen this. Why did that not happen? Okay, I missed a lot of chat. Rust is so nice. The piece of art starts with yeah, too many syntax characters. I mean, it's worthy of the obfuscated code challenge is what it is, right? May retry diet semicolon now that more stuff is stable. I'd love to, Musin, I'd love to see your challenges get into the obfuscated code challenge at some point. Oh, you did admin a code 2021? Oh, I remember that. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. You did that challenge all as one iterator. Yeah. And I can't understand it. Is there anything like append these to tuple for the map on... Okay, I'll let Musin answer that. Const generics can help encode state? Yes, because you can put constants in the types. Okay, mystery. When we detect that key 6 has been debounced at this time, how come we didn't queue the key until much later, like 80 milliseconds later? In the meantime, we activated the modifier 50 milliseconds later. Yeah, we saw a key 6 change. Why didn't we queue it? Key is down. This is true. No, this is... Oh, that's why. Because it actually went into here. Oh, because it's also a hold tab key. Dang, that's why. Okay, then I can see how this would... My decision code would have been confused. It debounces key 6, but key 6 is also a hold tab key. So what does it do? It just, it puts it into the, it hasn't made a decision about that key either. And then we do make a decision about the first one. It's a shift. And then we release it, which causes it to be a tap. So it queues key 6. And then it starts the simulation. So the real problem is that when it activated the shift, it didn't add it to the preserved modifiers. Oh, that's right. We're supposed to do that. That's what it is. Okay, I know what it is. I had this before, but I removed it. This has to actually update both of them, the raw and the preserved. The reason why we have both is that sometimes we update the raw only. This has to actually remove it from both, right? Let me find the place where it updates raw only. Oh, wait. No, I can't. I can only do this if it's a hold. Shoot. Okay. Then we need to have another parameter here. Yeah, I need another parameter. Is hold. Well, is tap, really. If it's a tap, then we... Actually, it's only for deactivate. That's what it is. No, hold on. I don't need to know that. I just don't update preserved on a deactivate. Yeah. We always add modifiers, but we never take them away from the preserved modifier list. That's the difference. Okay, let's try this. It's all a fault of this rule right here. that modifiers need to be preserved. So you can see turning it on, it has to turn on, but pressing it needs to turn it on, but releasing it doesn't turn it off because we have a mod tap decision in progress, and we turn it off only after we're done simulating. Yeah, so if you were to go and like while pressing mod tap shift F, if you hit control in the middle, you'd have to add the control. Actually, that's not true either. Let me think about this. Do they even have that here somewhere? No, they always show the mod being there first, but what if it's in the middle? I think you wouldn't want to turn it on. Okay, yeah. Then... Oh, okay. I know what I want to do then. This we only want to do if... Actually, I wouldn't even need to do it here. Right? Well, I could do it here. It's only if if self dot hold start times is empty. Then we do that. Do that here too. And here we would just copy this and paste it there and change it to preserved. Yeah, if we're not making any hold tap decisions, update preserved. Otherwise we can't, because we're delaying it. We're delaying until we make a decision what happened at the point where it was actually pressed, which is where it was preserved. Okay. I think this will work. I'm hoping it'll work. See, I'm in the same boat, Hittis. When I look at Musen's challenge code, I can't wrap my brain around it. What it is, I think, is there are a lot of areas of... what's the right word? There are a lot of areas of concern that the code is wrapping up all and bundling all together, and it's hard to separate them out into different pieces. In effect, it's like impossible to refactor that into its elements because they're all intertwined into that iterator sequence. Okay, trying one more time. Normal tap works. Normal modifier works. Okay, hold tap modifier works. That didn't work. That's still not working. Okay, it's still broken. Look at the log. So after 32, excuse me. So that should have been a shift 2. Why wasn't it here? Right, and there are no modifiers at the beginning, and then we press the other key, we cue it. What happened here? Oh, that's that key. Right, okay, so it's just delayed. I should just look at the left-only logs. So... pressed and then released. The release does nothing because it's queued. And then we released. That's the same release. Okay, so here's where the tapping term expired. So we activated shift and then we simulated. Wait a minute. Okay, that's the problem. I must have applied the hold action before taking it out. Right, okay. So then let's find where that is. It's when it's in the code that where the tapping term expires. It's down here somewhere. Yeah, it's this. Yeah, so I activated the key and then I removed it. Really, what I really don't do is remove it and then activate the key. Actually, what I really want to do is activate the key. Let's have another parameter saying like apply to preserved modifiers too. So like apply to how about preserve? So this would be if preserve or there's no decision to make, then do that. Okay, so a couple more places activate key is called. This would be false. Actually, it doesn't matter here. Might as well say true. Maybe we don't need that inner if then, if we always know. Start simulating queued keys. Well, this is only called if there are no more yeah, so that's also a true. Right? So if we always know, maybe we don't need that inner decision-making process. Okay, what about this one? That's called from here, which is called from here. If we're simulating keys, then we've made all our mod key decisions, right? So this would also be a true then, I think. That tells me that I can probably do away with this decision here. That part of the decision, and just keep it like that. Okay, let's try that. Sorry there's so much churn. But the logic, the decision making here is really subtle. And it's probably an indicator that I need to clean up my code too. There we go. Is there an epilogue now? Are you talking about a different kind of prologue? I'm not able to keep up with chat. I'm sorry. Okay, testing again. Single tap. Okay. Dedicated shift. Works. All right, and then mod. That seems to work. Depends on how fast I do it. Okay, cool. I think it's working now. Finally. And we're not getting sticky keys. We hate sticky keys, right? Alright. I'm gonna say it's done unless I get another bug. Okay, so what did I actually change here? Oh, I was still working on that check-in. Okay, so we've moved all the key configuration to one place. Right? We have this activate key, which now has this preserve flag. So if we preserve, then the preserve modifiers are also affected. We have deactivate key. Oh, let me review that deactivate key. Huh. We would want it to apply to the Okay, there we would want it to apply to the preserved state. I think we always want to update the preserved state. Yes, so I don't think we need to make a decision. I think we always do that there. Because it's when we lift the key, like, the decision has to be made at that point, right? Oh, hold on. No, that's not true. That's definitely not true. In fact, I think we never want to do this. But I'm not sure. Here is, we're deactivating the key because you really did lift a hold tap key, so... Well, wait a minute, hold on. No, we don't want to apply it there because that fits the hold, where is it? This one? This one right here. We need to simulate the J while holding shift. No, that's not it. Is that it? No, here we do, when we lift the key, we do want to deassert shift. Is it this case here? Actually, this is the behavior we want, right? Well, no, then we haven't hit the tapping term. So this is if we exceed the tapping term, and then you lift the key out. Well, no, we want to preserve it because we might have another decision to make. Actually, then I'm going to keep it the way it is. I'm going to keep it exactly the way it is. This will look at that to figure out if it can lift it or not. Actually, maybe I don't even need to do that because of how modifiers preserved is updated. It's updated out here if... not here. Here. If there are no more keys to simulate, then we update the preserved modifiers. So that tells me it might be safe to delete this code. I'll just comment it out and test it. Program. We are programming first try. It's midnight. Okay, I need to wrap up after I get this fixed. I don't want to stay up too late again. If this works, I'll delete that code and then I'll check it in, and then we'll be done. I'll be happy because I finished the... What did I do today? My brain's already fogging up. Right, we made the cleaner way to describe what keys do. We didn't allow them to be programmable, but that's going to take more than I'm going to do tonight. Just cleaning up this. Okay, we'll be happy if this is cleaned up. So here we go. Normal taps, dedicated shift. So now we're going to do the modifier shift. It's hard for me to do the rolling thing really fast. Okay, it seems to work. And then... How about if I hold down the shift and then do the other shift and then release it? Yeah, I think my corn keyboard does the same thing, where if you do 2 shift keys, they kind of cancel each other out. Yeah, I mean, if you have 2 keys that map the same thing, or you're gonna get funny things anyway. I shouldn't expect that to work. Let's just call it. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Okay, one more final review. I think I was down here, deactivate key. Okay, yeah, I can delete that code. So we didn't need it. All right, so deactivate key. Okay, so down here, I just renamed that constant. That's what happened there. Okay. Oh, here I can actually fix that one. Line 764. There's another constant for that, so I don't have to have the multiply by 2. Okay, what line was that? 863. Yeah, so this is numkeys total. Right? So I can move that in there. Back to the review. So that's now numkeys total. Remove the fix me. Activate keys, already reviewed that. Delete that commented out code, already reviewed this. This looks good. Okay, so this is applying the meaning of any hold tab keys that have been held down for the minimum hold time. So we figure out which ones those are, and for all of those we activate the hold meaning, and we remove them from the hold start times. Right. So then I don't have a comment for this, but this is like, I should have a comment there when I refactor maybe. That once we're done with all hold tap decisions, if we have keys queued, we start moving into the simulation queue, and it's going to execute that more than once, right? So any queued keys come out through the simulated keys, and if that becomes empty and the modifiers changed, then we update the modifiers again, and we process any simulated keys that are done. Yeah, that's all good. All right, and then, yep, that's good. That's good, and I have that fixed there. Okay, we're all good then. Then we're ready to check it in. Can quit this guy. Git commit. So this is clean up key configurations. So we replaced key codes with key configs. Combining key codes, modifiers, and hold tap configurations into one place. Again, we're going to say remove all hold, if I spell it right, hold tap hacks. And then what else did I do? Okay, yeah, so anything that deserves a comment in the commit. I mean, that's the major thing, right? What else needs to be mentioned? Yeah. We introduced a bug, but then fixed it before I checked it in, so it's like it never happened, right? Okay, I'm gonna wrap up the stream for tonight. So I'm gonna say in my notes that this one is done, and we're gonna break this up into another task. Allow key configuration to be programmable. So this is done. Need to do this next time, right? I'm gonna make this a separate task. How do I do that? Shift tab. I'm just gonna, for the first step, I'm going to add a parameter to monitor that writes key config block to the keyboard. So I guess what I'll do is I'll just, what will I do? Just a proof of concept. I'll just have it hard coded in the monitor program, and then I'll just say, okay, go write it to the keyboard and verify that the key mapping's changed on the keyboard. Then I'll do the real GUI, which will take longer, and that'll have like the fancy graphics, and you can click a key and change its meaning and all that. And when you hit save, it'll do this part again. So this will be mostly like the serialization, deserialization stuff. This will be reading and writing to the flash memory. And that goes all under the same umbrella. Okay, so that's what I'll do next stream, and either tomorrow or the next day, is this task, and then probably this one will be another stream in the future. Haven't done layers yet. Probably layers will come in naturally when I'm working on this. Actually, I'll have to add layers at some point. That'll be another stream. So I'm thinking like at least 3 or 4 streams left before we're done. You too, Endorn. Have a great one. And I'm glad that Musin and Hittis had such a productive conversation, even though I wasn't able to contribute a lot. After current wounds have healed, got you excited to try again. That's great. So yeah, once again, you guys really have to watch Musin when he streams. If Musin, if you are streaming right now, I would probably raid you. But I don't think you are. In fact, nobody that I know is. I don't know, is there someone else in software and game dev that we can just go check out? Hey, there's me. I'm like 3rd in the list. Someone else is working on Svelte and Heroku. Someone's making a space colony sim game. That looks cool. Someone's just coding in React TypeScript. No one I know. Oh well. Endorn, you want to start streaming? Okay. We're all good here, right? Great. Survey anybody else speaks German? Yeah. Thanks for the suggestion. If people want to, they can go there now, I guess. Better stream work. Are you allowed to stream work? I can't. I kind of wish I was able to sometimes. I think what I'm going to do, although I hate to do this, is just stop the stream and let you guys decide where you want to go next. So, sorry that I don't have anyone to raid, but I'm just going to say goodnight. I'll see you guys next time, okay? Thanks for watching. Again, the next stream is probably going to be more of the same today. Just making it more clean and configurable. So I'll see you next time, okay? Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. What about PPY? Is he still online? I don't know. I don't know who PPY is. I didn't see them in my list. But there you go. There's another suggestion from Endorn. I'm just going to hit the stop button, okay? Have a good one. Bye.